when you redefine yourself as a spiritual being and you really understand you're here on purpose, you matter. You matter. And when you live from that place, you bring that awareness into life, and it becomes that which is how you express yourself. You know, the gift that you've been given is so precious. There's not one of us in this room that would take any dollar amount for the life, the gift of life that's been given to us. It's invaluable. What shall you do with it? How conscious will you be? How much will you give of yourself to honoring the contract that you signed when you came here to be the living presence of the divine? Have you ever seen a potted plant that was root-bound? What's happening with the roots? They're turning in on themselves and choking themselves off, yes? What happens the moment you take that potted plant and you put it into a larger pot, or better yet, dig a bigger hole and put it in the ground? What happens? The roots then begin to push out again, and that life force surges through that tree because it's found its purpose again. Folks, some of us need to be repotted. It is awesomely the truth. Infinite intelligence will have its way. Growth will happen one way or another. And if we stifle it, we don't honor that need for pushing out, it pushes in and it creates dis-ease. What is a mystic? Ernest Holmes tells us, the Fillmores tell us, a mystic is someone who lives so fully conscious and present in the awareness of infinite intelligence that lies beyond the veil of the five senses, and it accesses that infinite intelligence and lives in its presence in such a way that it can walk, move, breathe, and expand itself in, through, and as each of us when we live in that awareness of the presence of God, or whatever word you would like to call it. Now, the fact is, you take the word mystery and you talk about mystics, okay? We're all mystics. Can I get a witness? That's the good news. Here's the other news. Some of us are optimistics. Some of us are pessimistics, yes? And the plane continued to do this. Whoo! And all of a sudden, this true story, I hear this, and the plane dips, and I hear this, whee! And I'm thinking to myself, what fool doesn't know what's going on here? Plane dips again. Whee! And sure enough, I look up about 4 aisles on the left-hand side. There's a young woman holding a toddler in her arms. And every time the plane would do this violent dip or drop or rise, this little boy would go, whee! Just throwing his hands up in the air. Like, do that with me. Come on. Whee! Come on, one more time now. Feel it. Whee! Where are you right now? I thought to myself, I said, what does this kid know that I don't know? I want some of that. And then I realized it wasn't what he knew. It's what he did not know. He was not taught to fear the ride. I think the question is that we begin to ask ourselves, who would I be without this fill in the blank? Without this wound? Without this anxiety? Without this title? Without this person? Without this job? Without whatever it is we're holding on to that's causing us to suffer and be separated from the flow of life? Who would I be without that? And you'll never know until you let go. Trust requires coming to the edge of I don't know and looking over. Here's the deal. When you get to heaven, which is a metaphor, right? We know heaven and hell are where? Just states of mind, right? But when you leave this planet and you get back and you're knocking on heaven's door, you're going to be asked 2 questions. First one is, did you love well? Second question is the planet a better place today than it was when you got there because you were there? And if you can answer yes to both of those, you will have been on purpose. The present moment is where you fulfill your purpose. You cannot fulfill your purpose tomorrow.
Because you may not be here tomorrow. You can't fulfill it yesterday because that's dead and gone. This holy instant is where your purpose lies in front of you, and you have to be present with it, your mind and your body, in the same place at the same time in order to honor that.
Is not life a mystery anyway? Consider this. We come from the most amazing mystery of all. We come from the ethers of that which is beyond our wildest conception or imagination. And somehow this soul being that we are parks itself in this physical garment, this body, which is what? Nothing more than a carbon-based, disposable, biodegradable vessel that the soul rides around in, right? Circumnavigating the human condition, and this is very key, get the soul, gathering soul-expanding information and experiences through direct experience, so that when it leaves the planet, it leaves enriched and leaves in its wake the planet a better place than it was when we got here. Yeah? When the vessel is full, when the soul has completed its purpose and mission here, it jettisons the vessel, which then returns to its stardust elements, right? And then the soul essence of who we are goes back into ethers from which it came. What is not mysterious about that? Right? But here's what's really important. What happens between the time we get here and the time we leave is equally mysterious.
Imagine the world being on purpose. It begins right here, right now, with you and I.
My favorite French mystic, philosopher, teacher, Guillaume Apollinaire, he wrote, "Come to the edge," he said. They said, "No, we're afraid." Come to the edge, he said. They came. He pushed them. They flew. Come to the edge. There's more for you to do and be, or you would not be here. Bless you. Namaste.